Hello, I hope you are well, and in today's video I would like to make a quick one regarding commit messages. Indeed, commit messages, having good commit messages, good commit namings are very important for the readability and the clarity of your code base, especially when you work with teammates, but also when you work by yourself, and later on if you find a bug, it will be easier to look at the commit messages. For instance, if you use GitHub, GitLab, Bitbucket, you will search in the search bar for the commit names, or just in your CLI tool, or maybe if you use a GUI, Git, that's fine too. You might have, maybe you use Git Kraken, or maybe you use a fork or another one. You can find with a name, and that will be it will help you to identify what kind of changes you have done. So you're probably aware that when you are doing changes in a file, maybe you are doing some business logic changes, or maybe you are doing some refactoring, or maybe you are as well in the same file doing some text changes like wordings. You will create one commit for the text changes, and then another one for bug fix, and then another one for the refactoring you have done. 3 commits, because they happened in the same file, but they are not relevant. They are not the same thing you have done. So one commit for each relevant thing. That's one thing to do. But the second really important thing is to give good commit messages. So here, that's an article I have written on dev.to. If you are interested to, is dev.to/PR, I will write it to you, PIERRE. So dev.to/PIERRE, and you will be able there to find my article. All right, so now let's go back to where we were. I will just make it a little bit bigger. Perfect. So Git messages. The Git messages play a big role in the understanding of every change. Indeed, they should be in the present tense. Usually that's a convention. You will not use the past tense. Sometimes some devs might do it, and I have seen that as well, usually junior developers, but over time, you see all of your other teammates, they write it in present tense, so you will do it as well. And it's a little bit quicker. It's also less characters, so that's better. Like instead of writing updated a message, you will say update a message. And so it should be written in present tense, short, clear, and explicit. Of course, you can write the body of the commit message, but the title, so if you use the CLI tool to be git commit, and then that's basically the title, and a clear title, I would say, clear title, and after the second one, that will be body of the changes of what you have done. Maybe you use like Git Kraken, or maybe you use fork or another GUI Git, that's fine too. So that's very important, because when you are looking for an issue and you remember more or less what was the change, you just have to search in GitHub or GitLab, or perhaps Bitbucket. You will search for some keywords and you will find your commit message. Or again, maybe you do it locally with Git CLI, or maybe with a GUI. Then the message, they should clearly say what happened, why you have done that, what happened, what was the cause, as well as the reason, like I said, and the motivation behind the changes. Always ask yourself, what are the changes done for? Wow, what happened? Why did I have to do that? And so it will help your team to understand better, especially if you work for a full remote company. If it's fully remote, everybody is spread all over the globe. It's even more important. For instance, if you know the company Automatic, this one, behind WordPress, but behind so many other products, because they acquired a lot of companies. Automatic is much more than WordPress, and actually they do nowadays they spend maybe only 20% on WordPress. They have also a lot of Web3 projects. They have so much. I think 2 years ago, they also acquired Day One. They also, I love Simple Note as well. They have a lot, and it's a fabulous company. Day one, is it day one? Or one day? The note taking app, and they have a podcast. Yeah, day one, a podcast app. It was a Australian podcast app, like the main podcast app you have on Apple, and they acquired that one too. I forgot the name, but it was also a big acquisition. And yeah, they have way more companies than we would think of. And they don't have offices, so they are only working remote, and they are so well organized, however, but that's why they are so strict at the way you are writing the commit messages. But in any other companies, even if you are working on site, it's very important. Imagine also if you leave the company, or if a new starter are looking at commits and they need to understand why you have done those changes, or why that they've did that change. It's very important that it's clear, and it's very important that you mention the motivation behind it. And you never know, like, no one will be there at the company forever, and there will always be new engineers being hired. So it's really important and even crucial to have good commit messages. And even later, perhaps AI will read the commit messages. So you will have a AI tool scanning all of the Git commit messages, and it will help to have a better AI tool working on your code base. Instead of having you have some repositories where the Git messages are just nothing, or just a dot, a full stop, and that doesn't mean anything. So you have to be extremely clear at the kind of message you give to your commit, to the changes you have done. It's not a waste of time, trust me. So ask yourself, what are the changes done for? And you could also, in another word, say why you did what you did, if that's clear for you. What are the changes done for? Why you did what you did? In short, it is the explanation that we don't necessarily see from the code, from the changes, from the code diff. You might see some code diff, but you don't really know why you have done that. Okay, I understand I understand the refactoring, but I don't understand the motivation behind it. So please mention that in the Git commit. Additionally, it's a good idea to add a ticket ID, such as the Trello ID, usually to be the Jira ID. So to be like the prefix would be, for instance, CR and then the ID. So first is the board, and then 4, 5, something like this. So the ticket ID, Jira, Asana, Trello, and so on, at the beginning of the commit message. And usually it will link as well to the Jira board. If you have that extension, you will be able to have the ticket ID being linked to the main ticket. So when you click on the ticket ID at the beginning of the commit message, it will be like a anchor link. You could also use GitHub ticket system. And then, sometimes, of course, we need to know the reason, like what I said, the reason why a piece of code has been changed, and the need to dig into the ticket to have a full understanding of the feature requirements. This is why having the ticket ID is quite important. So that's also something I would recommend you to do at the beginning. So for instance, you do git commit m and then tr ticket, and after you mention you change. You see, as simple as that. All right, so here git commit, well, each commit should be, like I said, should be small and fix only one thing per commit, only one, not more. Following this important rule, if your commit message contains the word and or plus sign, that means you are trying to commit multiple irrelevant changes in one single commit, and you shouldn't do that for the reasons I explained before. To be clean, consistent, and to be able to dig easily later in changes, especially when something happened when you have a bug and you know that the bug has been introduced recently by one of the commit, it will be so easy to revert that specific commit. When you revert the commit, if that commit has a lot of changes, you will revert all of the changes. So if that commit has only the bug you introduced by mistake, when you do git revert with a git hash, you will just revert that specific bug. So that's why it's also a much better idea to have one thing per commit. Of course, your commit shouldn't have like a space, one commit, and then perhaps a little tiny change, one commit. No, but it should be one commit for that specific thing. If you are adding a whole new feature and you have one commit for that whole new feature, it's too much. But you could have one commit for adding one component, like the login component. That's fine. If you add one commit for each, like for one field, one input field, one email field, one password field, one button, and then after the styling, the styled component being added. No, that's too many commits. One commit for the main login form, that's fine. And then after you will have another commit to enhance or to improve the login form. This rule is not just there to be nice. When you need to revert, like I said, when you need to revert or cherry pick a commit from your Git history, the fact that one commit only contains one specific update really helps. And yeah, it does. In my case, from my previous experience I had, this has been so helpful. But when I have to git revert a commit added by another teammate and that person didn't follow the rule, it's becoming quite painful. So you really have to make sure that the whole team where you work does follow the rule. Because if you only do it and you are on prod, you are on call during the weekend and there's a big issue, a big bug, and you have to quickly fix it and to quickly do a git revert, and it reverts a feature the product owner doesn't want to revert, that's a pain. And just because it didn't follow the rule, but if there was a little bug being introduced and that bug it did make sense to be in a single commit, then it makes everything easier. So I hope this helps, and I wish you a wonderful day, a happy coding, and again, you will see it's a game changer. Have a lovely day.